I call the honourable member for Capricornia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Immigration. Will the minister update the House on the government's progress in keeping its promise to stop the boats? Are there any alternative approaches?
I call the honourable Minister for Immigration and Border Protection.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the member for Capricornia.
The minister will
question.
resume his seat, and if the member for Grayndler is calling a point of order merely to disrupt business, that is against the standing orders, and he will be sat down and asked to leave the chamber. So, what is the standing order?
Standing order is very clear, Madam Speaker, which is decades of precedent in this place, which is you cannot ask a question asking for alternatives. That word has very specifically been ruled out of order by every speaker in this chamber in the last 18 years.
There is no point of order. I call the minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm happy to update the House on the government's progress in keeping its commitments, because that's what this government does. It keeps its commitments. What it says before the election, it does after the election, Madam Speaker. But today,
this is getting close to simply disrupting the proceedings of the House. The minister will resume his seat. And on a point of order, the Manager of Opposition Business.
I refer to page 555 of practice. The Speaker has been critical of the use of phrases at the end of a question, such as "Are there any threats to?" that could be viewed as intended to allow ministers to canvass opposition plans or policies.
I think if you look at the precedents, you'll find I've used the same point of order and it's got the same response. There is no point of order. I give the calling to the Minister for Immigration and Border Protection.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I can understand why the Manager of Opposition Business would be so reluctant to hear the answer to this question, because his record when he was Minister for Immigration for boats turning up in Australia is that he couldn't get past 6 days. 6 days was the longest period of time when he was the minister that we went without a boat turning up. But today, Madam Speaker, I'm going to refer to the Human Rights Minister, Gillian Triggs, and this is what she had to say today. She said there is an objective fact here, but by using border patrols, by using customs officers and military officers, we have physically stopped the boats. That's what she says. And she says one has to accept the physical fact that the boats have been stopped from landing on Christmas Island or being brought to Christmas Island, and I think we also, in fairness, have to accept that it is very likely that many lives have been saved at sea, so that is clear. I can update the House, Madam Speaker, that it is 95 days since with our last successful people smuggling venture. During the same 95 days last year, there were 55 boats and 3,116 people who turned up. Now, Madam Speaker, the people, the policies and the resolve is what's producing these results. And it's a position of conviction, not convenience, that drives the policies and those on this side of the House. And those on the other side of the House, Madam Speaker, well, their heart was just never in it when they were in government, and it seems nothing has changed. I read—
the minister will resume his seat, and the member for Isaacs has the call.
In order to be directly relevant to the question, the minister's got to actually speak about the government's administration of the policy and not descend into this abuse of the opposition.
There is no point of order. The minister has the call.
Madam Speaker, Senator Dastyari has given a speech on the weekend, and he's referred to the double-mindedness of those opposite when he said Labor is and continues to need to be prepared to have an open debate about the future of our immigration policies. The fact is, over the past few years, we have tossed and turned on these issues. Madam Speaker, in order to have successful border protection policies, you have to be consistent. You have to have a unity. The only person on that side of the House who has been consistent in their policies on border protection is the member for Chisholm. The only problem is the member for Chisholm's policies are against those currently articulated by the Leader of the Opposition and those opposite. At least there is one member opposite who is prepared to be consistent. On the rest of them, it is a cavalcade of every position you could possibly imagine under the sun, except for the ones that worked, Madam Speaker, except for the ones that actually worked. And we know that even now Senator Dastyari is saying that he's uncomfortable with the opposition's current position on offshore processing. So the question for the Leader of the Opposition is, what are their policies when it comes to border protection? That's what people in Western Australia will be asking. They know what our policies are. Does the Opposition Leader support the policies that are working, which is turning boats back where it's safe to do so?